Hello, and in this episode we're going to look at electrical safety in homes. Again, this doesn't sound like a very thrilling topic, but it's a really important one for your exams. And if you're going to be safe, it's probably really important for you in your life as well. So let's get cracking. So we need to know about fuses and circuit breakers. Now these are things that protect us from electrical appliances by stopping the flow of electrical current if it gets too high. And that stops appliances from overheating. Now fuses work because they contain a thin wire that melts if the current flowing through an appliance is too high. And that breaks the circuit and stops the flow of electric current. Circuit breakers are special devices that switch off the flow of current if the current is higher than a certain value. And circuit breakers do the same job as fuses, but can be used many, many times. So you may have seen them as like little switches in your house, and sometimes the lights go out, they pop down, you've got to flick them back up again, and they're just there to keep your house nice and safe. So remember those two appliances, which are safety measures with electrical safety in your homes. Number one, fuses, which are normally found in plug sockets, and circuit breakers is the second one. Now, there are some advantages of circuit breakers over fuses. We just touched on one, and that is that fuses only work once, and then once blown, they need to be replaced. Whereas we can reset circuit breakers. Circuit breakers also break circuits faster than fuses, which reduces the risk of electric shock even more. Now, fuses, as we talked about, contain thin wires, and they might, if a bulb goes, then that will cause a fuse to go or a circuit breaker to go because there is a fault in the system. Now, fuses and circuit breakers must be chosen correctly to allow correct function. So that means if you pick the wrong one, it's not going to do the job you want it to do, which is to cut off the electricity if there's a problem. So for that, we use fuse ratings, and they tell us the level where a fuse will begin to melt. Now, the fuse chosen should be the value just above the normal current that an electrical appliance uses. So if the operating current is 3.8 amps and a fuse has a value of 3 amps, 5 amps, or 13 amps, then you can choose the 5 amp fuse as the appropriate one because it's above your 3.9 amp current that your appliance is using. But you wouldn't go for a 13 amp one, and the reason for that is that there's a big gap there between 3.9 and 13, which means that it's more potential, basically more current would have to go through before the fuse burnt out and the appliance stopped working and the circuit was broken. So if you've got a 3.9 amp operating current, then a 13 amp fuse would be the wrong one to use because it's more than 3 times the normal operating current that is needed to melt the fuse. Therefore, a 13 amp fuse might not even melt if the appliance develops a fault. Now remember, we've talked about this in previous episodes, but you do need to know, and it's really important that you know, that the potential difference across the mains power supply in the UK is 230 volts. So when you're selecting an appropriate fuse for an item, there are a few things you need to know. First, you need to know the potential difference of the power supply, which if it's the mains in the UK is 230 volts. You need to know the equation for power, and you need to know the power label on EU devices. So all devices in the EU will have that label on them. Now, just to recap what the advantages of circuit breakers over fuses are one more time. Remember that fuses can only work once, and once blown they need to be replaced, while circuit breakers can be used multiple times and just be reset. Circuit breakers also break the circuit faster than fuses, which reduces the risk of getting electric shock even more. So that is the end of our first episode at electrical safety in homes. Let's have a look next time at some more electrical safety, and join us again then for more topics that you need for your physics GCSE. See you again soon.